Good evening, sisters. And I say sisters not by blood, but by soul, by the rhythm of our footsteps and the ache of our endurance. Let me tell you something sacred. You are not for the pleasing, you are for the rising. And today, I will speak of 9 things no woman should ever do. Not for a man, not for the world, not for silence. There is a certain power that lives in every woman, a light born not from approval but from essence. It is not taught. It is not earned. It simply is. From the first breath she carries it in her bones. The glow of wisdom, the fire of strength, the soft flicker of knowing. But somewhere along the way, someone, perhaps with a smile too thin or a voice too sharp, tells her she is too bright, that she should lower her voice, make herself small, speak less, take up less space. And so, without even realizing it, she begins to dim. She dims at work when her ideas are too bold for rooms full of fear. She dims at home when her confidence is mistaken for arrogance. She dims in love when her independence is mistaken for rebellion. She dims so others can feel tall, seen, heard, even when they offer her no such courtesy in return. Your light is not a threat. It is a gift. And it was never meant to be tucked away in shadows to soothe someone else's discomfort. You were not created to bend your brilliance for the comfort of the insecure. You are not responsible for protecting fragile egos that can't handle your shine. When a woman begins to dim, something sacred begins to disappear. Her laugh becomes quieter. Her steps less certain. She starts to question what she once knew deep in her soul. She becomes a watered-down version of herself, not out of weakness, but out of habit, out of survival, out of love. But understand this, love does not require you to abandon yourself. Love does not ask for silence in place of truth. If someone cannot stand your light, it is not your duty to turn down the wattage. It is their burden to wear shades. Do not confuse humility with hiding. Do not confuse modesty with muting. A strong woman does not shout to be seen, but she also does not whisper to be accepted. Your light was made to illuminate, not just for you, but for the world. There will be those who feel discomfort in the presence of your power. That is not your concern. Let them adjust. Let them evolve. Let them leave. But do not adjust yourself into a dimmer version just to make them stay. When you choose to stand tall, when you walk in rooms unshrinking, when you speak without apology, you give permission for others to do the same. You are not just lighting your own path, you are setting a blaze that helps others remember their own flame. So rise, woman, not in arrogance, but in truth, in grace, in boldness. Be the sun that does not ask the earth if it's too bright today. Be the flame that does not flicker when winds try to test it. Be the lighthouse. Be the torch. Be the fire. Let the world adjust. You keep shining. There is a dream that lives inside every woman, sometimes loud, sometimes barely breathing, but always there. It may have arrived in childhood when she imagined herself painting skies, building empires, healing wounds, changing lives. It may have come later, in quiet moments, whispered through tears, or in the stillness between responsibilities. It is not always clear or complete, but it is sacred. It is hers, and it is never meant to be exchanged for someone else's ease. Yet far too often, women are asked, quietly, gently, and sometimes forcefully, to let go of their dreams so others can remain comfortable. They are asked to set aside their ambition so no one feels outshined, to silence their hunger so no one feels inadequate, to delay, to dim, to disappear so that someone else can feel centered. But comfort, when built on the suppression of another, is not comfort. It is control dressed in softness. It is the quiet theft of potential. A woman may begin to trade pieces of herself slowly. She says yes when she means no. She steps back when she longs to leap. She places her dreams on a dusty shelf, telling herself later, when things settle, when he's ready, when they understand. But later never comes for those who keep giving their now away. Time passes, seasons shift, and the dream, though still alive, grows faint from the waiting. There will be those who ask her to choose, them or the dream, love or purpose, home or self. But any love that demands the death of your becoming is not love. It is fear masquerading as loyalty. Do not become small to be loved. Do not silence your gift to be held. If someone cannot walk beside you as you rise, they were never meant to rise with you. Your dreams are not threats. They are not burdens. They are blueprints of your soul's desire to live fully. To abandon them is to abandon yourself. And the world cannot afford for you to do that. We need women who build, create, lead, sing, heal, write, run, rebel. We need women who refuse to wait for the right time, who understand that their dreams are reason enough. So, protect your dream even when it feels fragile. Speak it out loud, even if your voice shakes. Walk toward it, even when the path is lonely. Let no one's comfort become the graveyard where your dream is buried. You were not put on this earth to make others feel cozy while you shrink. You were made to rise, and your dreams are the wings. There is a certain kind of power that lives in a woman. One that has been shaped by struggle, refined by resilience, and softened by compassion. It is not loud for the sake of noise, nor sharp without reason. It is the kind of power that walks into a room without speaking and still shifts the air. The kind that nurtures while it leads, listens while it commands, and breaks chains without breaking itself. And yet, time and time again, women are taught to apologize for it, to tuck it in, to make it palatable. She is told her confidence is arrogance, her clarity is called cold, her ambition is labeled unnatural, and slowly, without even realizing, she learns to say sorry for things that should never require apology. Sorry for speaking too boldly. Sorry for taking up space. Sorry for being decisive, direct, unafraid. But what is she really sorry for? For existing fully? Power in a woman unsettles those who have grown comfortable with her silence. It rattles cages that were built to keep her small. And so she is taught to repackage her strength as softness, to dress her wisdom in doubt, to walk tall but never too tall. But no woman should have to dim her brilliance to be embraced. No woman should have to carry the weight of other people's insecurities on her shoulders just to keep the peace. When a woman owns her power, she does not take anything from anyone else. She is not competing. She is not conquering. She is simply reclaiming what was hers all along. And that reclamation is not something to apologize for. It is something to honor. To walk with power is to walk in truth. It is to say, I know who I am, and I will not fold myself into something smaller just to be digestible. Let them call you too much. Let them call you intense. Let them misunderstand. You were not born to be understood by those who fear the light. You were born to shine regardless, to carry your name with pride, to make choices without flinching, to love yourself without permission. And power, real power, is not the absence of tenderness. It is the balance of strength and grace. It is knowing when to roar and when to whisper. It is the kind of presence that doesn't demand attention but commands respect. Do not betray that by pretending you are less than you are. Do not bend just because someone else hasn't learned how to stand beside you. You owe no one an apology for being whole, for being seen, for being unshakable in your truth. The world will try to tame you, dress you in quietness, beg you to be easier, but you were not made for easy. You were made for honest, for powerful, for extraordinary. So hold your head high. Walk in your fullness and never, ever say sorry for being exactly who you are. Love, real love, does not come dressed in shame. It does not raise its voice to silence yours. It does not bruise your spirit, mock your feelings, or make you question your worth. Love, when it is true, does not belittle. It builds. But too often, women are taught to endure harm in the name of love, to stay quiet to keep the peace, to give grace where there should be boundaries, to call control care, to name disrespect devotion. There is a dangerous myth that tells women love must hurt, that patience means accepting mistreatment, that loyalty is proven through suffering, that if he shouts, if he shames, if he withdraws his warmth like a punishment, it's because he's wounded, because he had a hard childhood, because he doesn't know how to love properly, and so she stays. She forgives without change. She hopes without reason. She calls it love, while slowly forgetting what love is supposed to feel like. Disrespect is not a love language. It is not a phase. It is not a test you must pass to be worthy of tenderness. When someone dismisses your needs, mocks your voice, or treats your pain like an inconvenience, they are not loving you. They are using you as a mirror for their brokenness. And it is not your job to fix them. It is not your role to carry what they refuse to heal. You can have compassion without self-abandonment. You can hold space for someone's struggle without becoming a casualty of it. Do not let anyone tell you that enduring disrespect is noble. It is not. There is no prize at the end of a relationship where you had to lose yourself to keep it alive. You do not win by staying small. You do not prove your love by accepting less than what you deserve. And love, real love, does not require the erasure of your boundaries. It respects your voice, honors your no, and celebrates your fullness. It holds space for your emotions and does not punish you for having them. It does not threaten to leave every time you speak the truth. It does not twist your words or use your vulnerability against you. It does not need to break you to feel powerful. You were not created to be a punching bag for someone else's pain. You were not made to shrink, to cower, to walk on eggshells. You were made to rise, to thrive, to be seen and heard and held in your entirety. If someone cannot meet you in that space, you are allowed to leave. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to choose yourself. And you must. Because every time you allow disrespect, you teach your heart that it is something to be tolerated. You teach your soul that peace is a luxury. But your peace is not a luxury. It is a birthright. Let no one, under the guise of love, take that from you. Integrity is the quiet thread that holds the soul together. It is not loud. It does not beg for attention. But it is everything. It is the compass that tells you who you are when the world tries to tell you who to be. And yet, far too often, women are asked to let go of it, to trade it in for approval, to bend it just a little to keep someone comfortable, to silence a truth, play along with a lie, pretend not to see what's in front of them, all in the name of keeping the peace. From an early age, girls are taught to please, smile even when you're uncomfortable, say yes even when you mean no, don't speak too boldly, don't rock the boat, be nice, be agreeable, be quiet. And beneath those messages grows a subtle but dangerous habit, the habit of betrayal. Not betrayal of others, but betrayal of self. The moment a woman learns to ignore her inner voice just to be liked, she begins to lose her reflection in the mirror. You cannot build a whole life while breaking yourself in pieces to keep others content. You cannot walk in truth if you're always adjusting your truth to match the room you're in. And no amount of applause is worth the cost of your peace. When you silence what you believe, when you nod along to what you know is wrong, when you become someone else just to be accepted, you may be loved, but it will not be you they're loving. It will be the mask. Integrity means standing firm even when your knees shake. It means walking away from situations, jobs, relationships, or conversations that ask you to become less honest, less grounded, less yourself. It does not mean perfection. It means alignment. It means your words match your heart, your choices match your values, and your presence is not a performance. There is nothing soft or small about a woman who stands in her truth. There is nothing arrogant about a woman who says, I will not bend myself to fit your mold. That is power. That is grace. And yes, it will cost you. It might cost you approval, acceptance, popularity. It may even cost you people who once said they love you. But what you gain, yourself, is worth every loss. The world does not need more women who smile through dishonesty. It needs women who walk in the kind of truth that makes others pause. Women who speak when it's risky, who live in a way that's rooted, not rehearsed. When you carry your integrity like a crown, you teach others how to treat you. You teach the next generation how to rise without shrinking, and you send a message to the world that pleasing others is not your purpose. Living in truth is you don't need to fit in where you don't belong. You don't need to blend in when you were born to stand out. Your integrity is your light. Keep it lit. Let them adjust. You remain whole. There is a kind of ache that does not come from loss, but from the slow unraveling of self, from the quiet daily choices a woman makes to stay connected to someone who demands pieces of her in exchange for their presence. She gives a little here, compromises a little there. She learns their rhythm, their needs, their moods, and before she knows it, she is orbiting their world like a forgotten moon, shining only when they allow her light, not because she is weak, but because she loves. And love, when misunderstood, can become a leash. She stops doing the things that once filled her spirit. Her laughter softens into silence. Her dreams become distant echoes. She adjusts her language, her clothes, her schedule, her joy. She becomes an expert in their comfort and a stranger to her own. She tells herself it's normal, that this is what it means to care, that love requires sacrifice, and while love does ask for giving, it should never ask for your disappearance. When you lose yourself trying to keep someone else, what you're really keeping is an illusion, a fragile bond based not on truth, but on performance. And the more you perform, the harder it becomes to remember who you were before the act began. You may still look like you may still move through the motions of your life, but something essential goes missing. The knowing, unshakable part of you that never needed permission to exist. Real connection does not require self-abandonment. It does not demand that you shrink so someone else can feel tall. You are not meant to disappear to make others comfortable. You are not made to twist yourself into something softer, smaller, quieter, just to be loved. If you must erase your joy to be tolerated, if you must censor your truth to be accepted, you are not in love, you are in captivity. You have a right to take up space, to have a voice that is heard and a soul that is seen. You have the right to grow in directions that others may not understand. The ones who are meant for you will not be frightened by your fullness. They will not punish your light. They will not require your vanishing. There is no relationship, no love, no bond worth the cost of your becoming. If someone cannot hold space for all that you are, then let them go. Let them walk. You were never meant to stay caged just because someone else is afraid to fly. And if you must choose between keeping someone and keeping yourself, choose yourself. Every time Because the moment you return to who you are, the world shifts. You find peace where there was tension. You find clarity where there was confusion. And you remember this truth, simple and whole, that love should feel like freedom, not like forgetting. You deserve to be kept, yes, but not at the cost of losing you. So let this be heard in the marrow of every woman listening. You were not born to shrink, to serve silence, or to sacrifice your soul on the altar of someone else's comfort. You were born to shine, unapologetically, undeniably, fiercely. You were born with purpose, with power, with a light that does not need permission to blaze. Never dim that light so others can feel bright. Never surrender your dreams so someone else can rest easy. Never apologize for your strength, your fire, your voice. Never call disrespect love, nor dress up manipulation as care. Never betray your integrity for approval. And never ever lose yourself just to be kept by someone unwilling to cherish all of you. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. And the world is better, braver, and more beautiful when you stand fully in your truth.